Hello and welcome back to the Ignatian Yoga Lenten series. Today I've got two of my great Jesuit friends, Brother Matt Wooters and Brother Mark Mackey, and they're going to offer a couple little thoughts on what Lent means to them.
Hi, I'm Brother Matt Wooters. I am a social worker at Nativity Jesuit Academy in Milwaukee, and it's great to be here. One of the things about Lent that I am always touched by is in the readings, the scripture readings. Over and over again we hear, "Come back to me, rend your hearts, not your garments." And I think there's an interconnectedness between our prayer and our interior life and our exterior works of charity and work for justice, that they go together, being contemplatives in action, as Jesuits are prone to saying. There is a connection between the interior life and how we live that out through acts of service.
My name is Brother Mark Mackey, and I'm in studies up at Loyola University in Chicago. I had the privilege of studying Ignatian spirituality with the great Jesuit Bill Creed, and a point he really helped me connect to the exercises is this idea of freedom from, freedom for. That sometimes I think we think it's selfish to just focus on ourselves and our self-improvement, but Ignatius really had that point that's necessary to first understand the layers within ourselves to get our relationship with God righted before we can really help other people along that path as well. I think Jesus also talked about it with the speck in our neighbor's eyes versus the log in our own. And I think Lent is the perfect season to be able to do that self-work.
Mark and Matt both mentioned these two movements, a movement of an interior movement and an external movement. So Matt mentioned contemplative and active, these two dynamics. And Mark mentioned freedom from and freedom for. In Ignatian yoga and Ignatian spirituality in general, there's these two movements, both this movement more and more inwards, to understand our desires and to understand how God is at work within and how God created us, but also this movement outwards, out into the world. So this call and response. And so during this time of Lent, I think it's a great time both for that internal practice, but also of opening ourselves up to the world. And so today's sequence is going to be a time to open the heart. So we're going to do a lot of heart openers today. And the purpose of heart openers is so we can further discover how God is at work within these desires, but also so we can open our heart to a world in much needed for healing and hope. And so may this class be an opportunity that will inspire you to go deeper and to inspire you to go out into the world and be that fire that lights other fires, as Ignatius sent St. Francis Xavier out nearly 500 years ago. So thanks for being with us again, and I hope you enjoy the sequence. Okay, and let's begin. The third episode of the Ignatian Yoga Lenten series will be focused on heart openers. So let's start out standing, coming to mountain pose with your feet underneath the hips. Press down through all four corners of your feet. Open up the toes as much as you can, and then press each toe down. Feel your feet grounded. Imagine roots growing through your feet. Find a length and extension in the spine. Tuck your tailbone slightly. Lift up through the top of the head. Soften your shoulders down. Just close the eyes and let's take a couple deep breaths together. Inhale. And slowly exhale. Two more times. Inhale. And exhale. Once more. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose or the mouth. Nice. Now let's inhale. Reach the hands up to the sky. And exhale, lower the hands back down to your side. Two more times like this, but as we come up, we'll come into a little back bend, start to open the heart. Inhale, and open the heart. Come into a little back bend, and exhale, lower back down. One more time, lifting back up. And exhale, release. And now this time clasp your hands behind your back. So take your hands and clasp your hands, interlace your hands behind the back. And wrap the shoulder blades around the back of the heart. Start to lift the heart up to the sky and come again into that back bend, opening the chest. Keep the hips over your ankles, but come into a back bend as much or as little as is available for you. And on your next exhale, keep the hands clasped and fold forward. Bend the knees as much as you need. Lift the hands to the sky and drop the head down towards the ground. Again, bending those knees as much as you need. No need to keep the legs straight or lock the knees. Better to bend the knees. And then release your hands and grab opposite elbow and sway a little bit side to side. Let your head hang heavy, find length in the neck. Let the whole torso hang heavy. And just release some of the pressure, some of the distractions, some of the planning or worries about the past or future. Just come into this present moment here. Bring your hands to your shins. Lift up halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And on your next exhale, bring the hands to the ground and come to a tabletop, to hands and knees. In the hands and knees, find your wrists right underneath the shoulders and your knees underneath the hips, and with a flat back. Nice. We'll go through a few cat-cows. So starting to loosen up and open the spine, as well as moving into further into our heart openers today. So on your inhale, point up through the tailbone and gaze up at the sky and shine the heart forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin towards chest. Inhale, open up, shine the heart up and open, point up and back with the tailbone, gaze up at the ceiling. Exhale, imagine a string now pulling you up from the center of the spine as you tuck the tailbone and tuck the chin towards chest. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to come into a puppy pose now. So it's kind of like a child's pose. Walk the hands further. But instead of sitting, keep the hips up instead of bringing the seat down. And then just allow the heart to drop. Press your hands into the ground. You should feel nice extension in the spine. And opening of the chest and the heart space. So allow the heart, the chest to drop down as you press your hands into the ground. Nice. And then come on back up. And from hands and knees now, we'll come down to the belly and move into a cobra pose. So with your hands right underneath the shoulders, your inhale, press the top of the feet down and start to lift up, shine the heart, lengthen the neck, but let the shoulders come back and down. Exhale, lower back down. 2 more times. Inhale, lift up, drop those shoulders down. So instead of squeezing the shoulders up, let the shoulder blades come back and down. And shine the heart forward. Exhale, lower back down. 1 more time, cobra pose. Press the tops of the feet. And exhale, lower back down. And we'll come into Sphinx Pose. So with the elbows right underneath the shoulders. And just gentle resting here, but this is also a heart opener, so a back bend and heart opener. So again, finding that length in the neck, drop the shoulder blades back and down and shine the heart forward. Take a few deep breaths into this heart space. Feel this opening of the heart. We're clearing away at the cobwebs, at the stuff that gets in the way of deeper connection with the heart, deeper connection with God, deeper ability to understand and live out God's will. Ultimately, our goal is to align ourselves with God's plan. And so in order to discover that, one way that helps us do that is by getting into the body, into the breath, calming the mind. Nice. Now lower back down and bring your hands down to your sides. We'll set up for a locust pose. So this first one, just lift the head, lift the shoulders, keep the feet pressed down, and lift the hands, and exhale, lower back down. This time we're going to lift all 4 limbs and head. So lift, extend, lift through the legs, lift the shoulders, but keep finding length in that neck. As opposed to needing to lift the head a lot, just make sure you're finding length. And exhale, turn the head over towards the left. Bring the right side of the cheek to the ground. Rest, relax for a moment. Bring the head back to center, and we'll move it again with another round of Locust Pose. So lift the head, find length, lift through the legs, lift the arms. Imagine you're flying through the air. Keep breathing. Lift a little bit more. And turn your head over towards the other side, left side of the face to the ground, gazing over at the right, and rest. And third round, you can repeat Locust or move into a bow pose. So bow pose is done by bending your knees and reaching back for the ankles, and then kick your feet into the hands. And if this isn't available, if you can't reach your feet today, no worries, just repeat Locust. Kick your feet into the hands. Lift up. Keep breathing. And release, gently lower down, and turn your face towards the left side. Shift the hips side to side. Bend the knees again, and this time we're just going to windshield wiper the knees from side to side to release that low back. And bring your hands underneath and shift back to Child's Pose. Getting a little counter bend and extend. Feel the extension of the low back now. And from this Child's Pose, let's tuck the toes, and we're just going to come up for a short downward dog. So tuck the toes under, press the hips up and back, pedal out the feet, find lots of length, press the torso towards the thighs. And then step the right foot between the hands, lower the left knee to the ground, untuck the toes, and come up to a low lunge. Open the heart up to the sky. Open your hands up. Just physically opening your body up towards God. And exhale. Bring the left hand to the ground. Reach the right hand up to the sky, and we'll take a twist, but also a heart opener. Open up the heart. You can keep your knee on the ground or tuck the toes and lift the knee off the ground. And lower back down, and back to downward dog. And from downward dog, lift the left leg up and back. Step the left foot between the hands. And use your hand if you need to get it up there. And lower the right knee. Reach both hands up to the sky. And turning the palms towards each other as if you've got a beach ball between the hands. Reach up and back. Open the heart. Open the chest. And exhale, lower the right hand, lift the left arm up to the sky. And if you did so on the other side, you can tuck the right toes and lift the knee off the ground, coming into a twist and heart opener. Inhale, open, exhale, lower back down, and step back to downward dog. Take 3 breaths in downward dog. Press the heels down towards the ground as you lift the hips up and back. And bend the knees, walk your feet between the hands, and come down and take a seat. And we'll lie down onto your back and set up for a bridge pose. So first bridge pose, we'll line up the feet hip distance apart, feet parallel. And so you can touch the heels of your feet with the fingertips. Nice. Now press through the feet, press through the elbows, and start to lift the hips off the ground, imagining a string pulling you up from the center of the pelvis. As you come up, now start to walk the shoulders closer to each other. Puff the chest up. You can keep your hands, your elbows rooted, or clasp your hands underneath as we did standing. And lift. Once you're up, release the glutes. And then come down one vertebra at a time from the top of the spine down. And just pause for a moment in stillness. For a second round, you can repeat that bridge, or I'm going to give another option of a bridge pose. This is a restorative bridge. So if you have a block or some books or a blanket or pillow, you can take it. Blocks work nicely, something hard, but whatever you have that can boost, and you'll put it widthwise and put it right underneath the sacrum, that triangular shaped bone at the back of the pelvis. And just set it up as a little shelf. You can keep it on the low level or take it to level 2, or even up to level 3, the highest level of the block. And pause here and just rest in this restorative bridge. Breathing around the heart. And if you're in bridge or restorative bridge, slowly come back down. We're going to do a third round, your choice now, of doing the first round of just a regular bridge as we did first, another restorative bridge. You can just stay on your back, or if wheel is in your practice, wheel pose is done by bringing the hands to the side of the ears with the fingers pointing back down towards the shoulders. And press your feet into the ground. And then come to the crown of the head first. So dip the head first and then lift up. Press the feet, press the hands. Come into your wheel pose. You can come to the ball of the feet and walk your feet in closer. And then tuck the chin towards chest. Slowly lower back down. Wherever you're at, whether you're in restorative bridge, wheel, hug your knees into the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. And from here we're going to come down into a reclined spinal twist. So begin, just pick up the hips like the bridge pose and scoot them over a few inches. And now take the right leg, cross it over the left leg, scoot the hips underneath a little bit more so you're stacking the right hip on top of left hip. Let the knees fall over to the left side, but then turn your head towards the right side and root the shoulder down, both shoulders to the ground. Especially that right shoulder may want to come up. Try to pin it down to the ground and turn. Maybe using your left hand at the outside of the right thigh or knee. And take a few breaths. Feel the sensations. Feel the twist. Feel the expansion in the chest. Back to center. And we'll switch to the other side. So again, with the hips back at center, lift and then scoot your hips over to the left side. Take the left leg and let the knees drop over to the right. Maybe again scooting your hips underneath so you can get your left hip to stack on top of right hip, possibly using your right hand to pin down or just apply some soft pressure on that left thigh or knee, and then root down through the left shoulder Turn your gaze over and take some deep breaths. And we'll come back to center. And our last pose before coming down into our final resting pose is fish pose. So fish is a nice, another nice heart and chest opener. So with your hands, you'll bring your hands underneath the seat, palms facing downwards, and then start to lift up to the crown of the head and tuck the elbows underneath you. So point up through the chin. Imagine a string pulling you up from the center of the chest. Scoop in the low back. Press up through the heart space as you lift up. Coming up, keep breathing. And then on your next exhale, start to lower back down. Release the hands from underneath you. Open up to the legs a little bit wider so your feet come out to the corners of the mat, maybe extending beyond the corner. Then bring your hands to heart center. Press one hand on top of the other and just gently feel the heartbeat. As you come into Shavasana, allowing the heartbeat to slow down. In gratitude for this life and the beautiful creation that God has brought into life and being. May you have a calm heart. May you become more aware of your heart's deepest desires. Noticing underneath the different wants, the different cravings. What is it that you deeply seek, that you deeply desire? Bring your hands down now to your sides. Let the palms face upwards. Soften the whole body. Moving into deep relaxation. Relax all the muscles, relax the skin, relax your bones. Just surrendering and allow yourself to dwell in God's presence. Imagining yourself just resting in the palms of God's hands.
Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will. All I have and call my own, you have given all to me. To you, Lord, I return it. Everything is yours. Do with it what you will. Give me only your love and your grace. That is enough for me.
I recommend staying here for at least 5 minutes. If you're able to stay longer, just press pause on the video and stay here as long as you can. And then when you're ready to conclude and come back to your seat, press play. Thank you for being part of this heart-opening class. I hope that your heart feels calmer and that you feel more in touch with your deep desires and with the desires that God has for you. Many blessings on your week during your time of Lent here. And I invite you now to take some time, if you can, to reflect on that, to speak with God, to speak with Jesus about your desires, about the stirrings within you. If you're with other people practicing this, take a little time of quiet reflection and then share some of the graces that you experienced in this class in your past week. And please feel free to reach out and provide any feedback. And I will be putting another video up next week. So thank you very much for joining in on this Lenten series. And I hope to practice with you sometime in person. Have a great rest of the week. Namaste.